Select your character.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sonic Adventure. Yes, Sonic Adventure. Host DaBlueShadow, and got two guests again today. Take the Hedgehog and Death21238. So what's up?
How's it going?
Hello. Okay, so we are back with Knuckles' story. As you have seen before, that we collected the maximum heat Knuckles attack. So, guys, what does maximum heat Knuckles attack do?
Hey Knuckles,
Is
whatever happened to
the
your
light
unfinished
speed
business?
attack on steroids. It's awesome, and I say steroids lightly because Knuckles is a muscular meathead.
Egg carrier.
But his attack is a lot stronger than Sonic's light speed attack. Sonic's light speed attack is more about speed and attacking the enemy, I guess, from a distance, and he zooms around them really fast. Whereas maximum heat is kind of like, you know, Knuckles' fury, you know, built up and unleashed on the enemy, and it actually can kill an enemy in maybe 2 hits, or a boss in 2 hits.
Do you think the speed of the animation was done wrong in this game? Like, light speed attack should have been instant. Like, with Sonic's light speed attack, it moves more slower than maximum heat Knuckles attack. Like, because that Knuckles' speed prowess and maximum heat Knuckles attack looks much more faster in vision, and that it actually connects to the enemies much more better. Whereas light speed attack gets a bit glitchy.
Light speed attack is not accurate, and it does get a little bit glitchy. It's not accurate, but to me, I think you're right as far as the animation goes. Knuckles does look faster, but I think the physics around Sonic's makes his faster, and that's probably why it's a little bit inaccurate, because he's just moving so fast, zooming around in the air, whereas Knuckles is like headed straight towards the enemy, you know?
Because I think that Sonic Adventure 2's one was executed much more better, but at the same time it shows the animation of how the original light speed attack was supposed to go, that Sonic's supposed to be curling to a ball around the enemy,
Right.
and then hit it straight away.
Right.
And you think that the light speed attack should have been a different animation, like it should have been bouncing straight towards the enemy instead of curling around the enemy into like in a circle motion and then hit it?
I think as far as Sonic's speed element goes, him zooming around the enemy is fine as it is. But like in Sonic Adventure 2's case, you can actually, like, you know, move the analog stick to kind of hone in on the enemy, instead of just, because sometimes Sonic can just about infinitely zoom around a certain object or enemy, unless you hit the analog stick sometimes. So they kind of made it so that you have control over Sonic while he's in that state.
Two stone statues.
The door to the past. That was pretty much my favorite moment going through Knuckles' story. And what does it mean by that?
Well, this particular stage, this whole entire ruins, this area, is Knuckles' history. It's a door to his past. No one else, I don't believe anyone else has to get the statues. I think Knuckles is the only one, but I could be mistaken.
He's the only one.
He is the only one, yeah. So, it's a door to his past, no one else's. It's not even the past, it's not about Chaos or Tikal's past, it's only about Knuckles' past. And then when he does have that flashback, this is pretty much the most information we're going to get about what happened back then. We're going to see, what's his name, Pachikamek, I believe his name is, Tikal's dad.
Yeah, something like that.
And we're gonna see a lot of tension there that they don't really talk about in the book, or you don't really see until the last final story.
Yeah.
There's just so much going on behind the scenes, and the fans just take it for face value, but there's so much back meaning into it. If you read the Prima guides or read any of the comics or books, well, I don't think they have any books, but definitely the comics, there's so much more going on about what happens when Knuckles goes back into the past.
Because I like the actual treasure hunting elements in the hub world, because this is the only time it felt like this is another character that's putting their elements into the hub world. Because let's look at it this way: Sonic is still running around trying to find one place to another. Tails is trying to find one place to another. Pretty much everyone's trying to find one place to another. But Knuckles is having like his little mission of collecting these stone statues and put it in to these ports of where the statue's supposed to be, and jump into this glowing place that's supposed to be now known as Lost World. And not really anyone else used any features like that. Probably, I'm guessing Gamma with his shooting to actually get into an action stage, but that's just kind of like getting from one place to another as well.
Right. You're right. All the other characters are kind of in a rat race, whereas Knuckles, they're just trying to get to one place to another. Knuckles is taking his time. So, Knuckles' story honestly has nothing to do with any action stage besides this one. It's mostly has to do with the Mystic Ruins, and just the Mystic Ruins. It's like he has so much history there that I don't even think he realizes it. In fact, he doesn't realize it, because most of the time he goes back into the past, he says, "Whoa, what is this place?" He doesn't even realize that it's the same place where he sleeps and lays his head every night. So that's his home, and he, out of all the characters, he should be the one that's most connected to the Mystic Ruins.
You think that he's always bizarre, like whenever that happens in most of this, like because he's always been going to the past just because that he always finds it as a dream. He doesn't find it as reality. Because if it is reality, that's when he actually takes it more into consideration. That's the truth. Because that he's always been fooled by Eggman, that Sonic's always been trying to go after the Master Emerald. That's why he sees that as a non-reality as well, because he doesn't see it with his own eyes. But then when he does see it with his own eyes, he does take that into reality.
Well, I think the dream factor definitely plays a part. But at the same time, Knuckles' personality he's not the brightest character in the franchise, so I honestly don't believe he realizes that, about what's going on around him, and at the same time, neither do the fans that play through his story, because he's not going to mention, oh, you know what, these are my relatives, or this is what's going on, oh, this is what happened to my people, this is what happened to my tribe. He's not going to say that, because he's too worried about the Master Emerald and getting the pieces. He's so focused that he doesn't even know what he's doing right now, or where he is.
I don't know, because that with Knuckles as well, like you do say that he's really as a dumb character, but in this game he was just more confused. But yeah, he does betray some dumbness, I guess, inside of him. But in the later games, he was much more dumber than this.
That's true. He did pick up something from this game. He did learn about the Master Emerald and the I guess the chant, I guess you'd call it, but or whatever it is, as far as like seven chaos being servers and all that stuff. That is the only thing that he's picked up from all this, pretty much. He completely missed everything else that's right in front of him.
Good enough.
Oh yeah.
Where am I? This is very strange.
Where is he, TK?
He's home. He's right home. That's where he always is. And once again, I'd like to point out that these are the Super Emeralds. Look at how huge this emerald is compared to Knuckles. Those are not the same emeralds from the cutscenes. That's bigger than his body. That's a Super Emerald. It's just like back in Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
I beg of you, hear me now. My father is coming here soon, and I fear what may happen. You must take everyone away from here. Oh, please. So, are you saying you can't leave this place? I understand. Let me talk to my father again. There must be a better way to do this. Don't worry, my friends. I won't let you down. I must do something quickly.
What? I'm back in front of the altar. This is beginning to blow my mind. Wait a minute, I remember. The broken pieces of the Master Emerald. I have to restore them to where they belong. It's still incomplete. I need to find the remaining pieces, wherever they are. Hey! Look! It's Eggman's flying fortress! That's where the rest of the pieces must be! But I don't know where that ship is. Hey, isn't that one of Eggman's robots? I know. I'll follow it back to Eggman's base. Here I come, Eggman!
I find that quite interesting that Knuckles can see into the Master Emerald and tell him where the missing pieces of the final pieces, of the Master Emerald is.
Yeah, Knuckles' race, his people, I guess, or his tribe, can they have some sort of link to the Master Emerald. I'm not quite sure what, but it gives them some sort of power. Just them, you know. Sonic doesn't really get any power from it. No one else does. Just Knuckles and his people.
So, following an espionage in E102, do you think that Knuckles is good at spying other people, seeing what they're doing?
Maybe. I think he could be, yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if anyone's ever noticed there's this tiny plot hole here, because in Gamma's story we never go back to Final Egg, so it makes this next cutscene pretty much makes no sense.
Just what I thought. Time to make a house call. Now we'll see who's so easily tricked. I can sense that the emeralds are here somewhere. What's going on? This thing's always changing.
Yeah, so this is the second time in the tornado fights the egg carrier, so it seems that Sonic and Tails must be in Skydeck right now.
Correct. They're going through. Being that the egg carrier just changed, they're on one side of Skydeck. Knuckles is about to go into the other side, and they're pretty much gonna meet. Sonic's gonna make it out first because he's gonna defeat Chaos first.
Yeah.
And then Knuckles will make it out afterwards.
So do you think that as soon as Sonic gets out Skydeck, Knuckles comes in?
Not necessarily. I think they're definitely in there at the same time. I just think that, because, you know, the ship just changed, but Sonic has to go through, I don't know, Sonic has to go through a lot more than Knuckles, but Sonic definitely makes it out first.
Because we're just in the second part of Skydeck stage, because like Tails only covers the first part when he faces Sonic, and Knuckles covers the second part, which is the much more open, expansive part. Would have loved to actually include the other part when you actually shoot the rocket to the cannon, but that one part was open as well.
Right.
But at the same time, can't really do much gliding because there's much more running elements, I guess, for Knuckles to do.
It would have been interesting to see how the wind effect would have affected his gliding, though. I think that would have been pretty fun.
Well, this stage is pretty interesting because it's much more different than the other stages, because it finally brings much more of an environmental element to it, because that we have to change the ship's altitude in terms of the wind, right?
Right. Yeah, we have to tilt it to open doors to slide objects out of our way, which is pretty unique because when I first played it, you know, this stage probably took me like 10 minutes, and you know, I didn't think that, because there's 4 different directions that you can tilt the ship, which means that, you know, if there's 3 emeralds and they're all facing a different direction, you're going to have to go back up there, get the emerald, go back up there again to change the direction, get the emerald, go back up there again. So that's gonna add on a lot of time.
Yeah, it really does. But yeah, there's a lot of pinballs with the cow, but you've decided not to really use it for this one?
No, I don't believe in using the pinball because the call's awesome and whatnot, but we got this.
Seems that this one needs the ship to be changed to the right. Actually, get the overs. Yeah.
It does. I was hoping that it wasn't, but it does. So I'm gonna go back up there and change the direction, and we'll see those doors open as objects fall out of them.
Well, in this stage as well, regarding the enemies that's blocking it and stuff, do you find these enemies dangerous, or they just plain natural? Like, they don't really want to disturb you, but at the same time, they will do something deadly if you come in their way.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They're kind of like dormant. They're really there to make sure the egg carrier's okay and operating, I think. I mean, not the spiky spinners, of course, but any other robot that you see is not really there to attack you, but of course if you get close to them or something, then yeah, they're gonna hurt you.
Either push or pull the lever to control.
Because it seems that there was a much more better enemy placement in Sonic Adventure 2's ones, because that they're actually much more likely to try and hit you. In terms of this one, it just feels that they're nearby the emerald locations, but they don't do much.
No, they're there for, like, I think that they're there honestly just to be there.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I killed a single enemy through this playthrough of the stage. Maybe one or two when I was climbing up the wall, but you know, they don't come out. They just float and hover there, and they stay there. It's mostly just spiky spinners. I don't even think there's any other enemies.
Yeah, so that was definitely a major improvement what he did from Adventure 1 to 2, is making sure that the enemies are much more of a threat. That's what kind of missed in the 3D Sonic games, that enemies was pretty much being like the underdogs of the stages, that people would just run by them, and it wouldn't be much more fun if that happened, because that, as I've said before in the classic series, that enemies do make you lose rings and you have to avoid them or hit them, no matter what, because it's a linear surface. But in 3D it was a hard time because it's much more open.
Exactly.
And yeah, Sonic Adventure 2 did become much more linear for the result that to actually make the enemies much more justified. And I think, yeah, the enemies was definitely the most hardest in terms of 3D for the 3D franchise for Sonic Adventure 2's. Even though that Sonic Heroes had much more of a enemy feature element, but you had Knuckles slow down the gameplay in Sonic Heroes, and he was much more justified to actually battle these creatures.
Knuckles, I don't know, he doesn't really, I don't find much interaction with him and the Badniks too much. I find him just kind of focused on whatever his goal is. Even in Sonic Adventure 2, it wasn't like, oh, I need to attack this spot. Just like, just get around the plot and find the emerald, you know. And it's kind of the same thing here. It's like, just like those two guns I just destroyed, it was kind of like, I'm here, why not? But I could have just, you know, what if I was gliding? I would have missed them completely and ignored them.
Yeah, you'll see much more of that you have to force to hit them when you're in like Death Chamber, I guess, or Egg Quarters. That's why you see most of them linear surfaces, like when he's running around with Knuckles and Rouge, and most of the actual enemies are trying to spin around and cover the whole surface.
Right.
It kind of forces you to hit them, like much as like Sonic levels and Tails levels, that the mechs and stuff, that you're gonna see much more interaction with the enemies. That's because that it became much more linear.
Right.
But yeah, definitely Knuckles in Treasure Island for both games was much more attached to finding the emerald, because pretty much the whole course of the level is just trying to find it, because you're not gonna be bouncing on enemies, as you said before, that enemies is just kind of a mini distraction, but they're not all together distraction, because that there's much more environmental features played through it, such as in this level, or taken back into Lost World that we didn't talk about, was the moving platforms that was shown in Sonic levels when you pressed it on the Switch, and then the platforms you can walk onto.
Right.
Helps you a lot as well, like going up.
Right, exactly. And you know, being that Knuckles could like glide and completely bypass that was pretty
The last missing
unique
piece.
to me.
All right. Now, to restore the Master Emerald. Huh?